Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to my show. I'm so excited to be here tonight. Welcome to my hour here. I am Cassidy, the Cardslinger, here on My Psychic Connection. There's already comments coming in. I love every single one of you who's coming back and coming here to spend the evening with me. I hope you guys have caught the earlier shows tonight. My goodness, what an excellent lineup. And all week, just really amazing psychics that are around on this platform. So what do I want to say? Happy New Year. You're like, Cassidy, it's the 12th of January. Why are you wishing me Happy New Year? Well, I am counting today being the first day of the year because Mars has gone direct. And we'll talk about that a little bit more and how that might impact and influence you because I think that's a fairly significant transit that if you haven't experienced yourself, you've probably seen in people around. So we'll get into that. But guys, we are streaming on over 160 different platforms tonight. Yay! And I know we're taking questions from at least 8, 10. So please be patient with us, with me. This is my hour, darling. Please be patient with me. I'm going to get to as many questions as I absolutely can. And we've got the most amazing team in the back that keeps track of every question as they come in. So how this works in case you're new or, oh, Colleen says I'm a ray of sunshine. Thank you, Colleen. You're a ray of sunshine as well. Thank you for being here. What was I talking about? Yes. If you are new here, how does this work? So I am here to do readings this evening. I have an assortment of different cards on my table. And if you're looking for a reading, just please type in your specific question with a little bit of context, if you can, into the chat box below around. If you're listening to us or listening to me on audio only, and you want to type your question in, you can find us on YouTube, search My Psychic Connection, and you'll find my face floating around live. You can also find us on Facebook under My Psychic Connection. And I know there's more channels, but those two, I've asked comments on them myself, so I know that they work. So I'm going to go ahead and send you there. So like I said, we're going to do free 2-minute readings. So we're going to go in order. If you want a little bit more information, you want me to go more in depth and have a little bit longer reading, there are options for donations. So you can take a look in the comments. That link will be floating around as well. We have donation options, 3-minute readings, 5-minute readings, mini reading, or a mega reading. Both the mini and mega reading aren't timed. The mini reading's good if you've got one question you want me to sink my teeth into, and the mega reading, if it's a little bit of a more complex topic and you've got some follow-up questions, we won't be timed. So I could really dive my teeth. I said sink my teeth already. We can really dive into your question. What else do I want to say? Oh, rules. Yes. If we what was that quote? It was something. Oh, it was on Friends. Monica, she was like, rules are good. Rules control the fun. So if I were to control the fun here tonight, I will not be answering any questions on legal questions, mediumship questions, medical, including pregnancy, or general questions. So if you're looking for a mediumship reading, lots of other readers on this platform do that, so you can catch one of the other shows. But legal, medical, and general are off the table tonight. So please share me wherever you're finding me. If you want to share me with your friends, the more the merrier. It's always wonderful to see new faces and people that are popping in. So if you do donate, I don't know if I said this yet, but if you donate, you jump right to the front of the line. So if we're getting into the show and, I'm going as quickly as I can through the questions, but if you really want your question answered and you want to make sure you have a reading with me tonight, there it goes, the donation link, just pop in everywhere. You can type provide a donation and you'll jump right to the front of the list. So thank you all for being here. I think that's everything I meant to say initially. I'm happy to get started with my first question, and then we'll talk a little more about some of the other things going on. Give a good shuffle here. Gemma. Hi, Gemma. Oh, lovely to see you. Hope you're doing well. Gemma says, can you see me doing some traveling around here in England in the next year or two? Thank you. Awesome, Gemma. Thank you so much for your question. Let's see, my dear, what the cards have to say. You traveling around England next year or two. Neat. Okay. Well, what I want to say initially, Gemma, is it seems like what this question is kind of stemming from and what we're talking about here is like, I don't know if you haven't been able to travel, either it's a physical thing, a financial thing, but I just feel really quite looking into the past and even tipping into the present. I feel pretty restricted with my ability to be able to travel around. And I feel like it's not just, oh, this is fine, I can't travel, but it's actually something a lot deeper that, you know, a really big part of me wants to travel. Like, I feel so connected to the idea of travel that it's more than just an exciting little pastime. Like there's something a lot more important about this to you, that not being able to travel has taken a toll and has been really challenging. So what I want to say here, when I'm looking at travel over the next year or two, I 100% see it possible, to be honest with you. The cards I have are certainly not stationary, nor do they suggest not moving. But I do want to say they're going to require a little bit of planning in advance. And it seems really quite figuring out all the details of exactly how you're going to get from place A to place B. I feel like the financial situation is going to be okay here, whether you have already been saving or you've got a plan to be saving, because I feel like in a very practical way, you have figured out what you need to do in order to be able to make sure that this travel happens. And I'm not really seeing a whole lot in your way, as long as you really, you know, really plan this out well in advance, where you want to go, what your timelines are, who you're going to be with. It might even be solo travel or meeting people along the way, that kind of thing. Oh, I got the bell. I was just going to say, so that's all I have for you, my dear. So I hope that was helpful, and thank you so much for your question, and all the best on your travels. I really do see that happening. So yeah, I mean, this is probably as good a time as ever to just talk quickly about Mars going back direct, which is super exciting. So Mars has been in retrograde since the end of October last year. So since then, Mars has to do with a lot of things in the nature of, you know, our drive, our ambition, what gets us out of bed and fires us up in the morning, our ability to act and do stuff, you know, make things happen around us and in our lives, I should say. So if you've found, I know some people are more impacted by this than others. If you've just not had as much get up and go as you have or as you would like to, this is a really great kind of New Year's moment to say, okay, if I haven't been able to act on things I was wanting to welcome in at the beginning of the year, or, you know, even if you're someone who doesn't work with resolutions and you just want some changes to be made in your life, this is such a good time. I was actually having a conversation with Tarot Squirrel about this a couple months ago, and we were talking about New Year's resolutions. And I said, you know, would it be a good idea to maybe state your resolution on January 1st, but then put it into practice on January 12th or 13th when Mars goes direct? And, you know, she's a professional astrologer and seemed to think that was not a bad idea. So Mars has gone direct. I really hope that means wonderful things for everyone. And again, if you haven't been impacted by that, you might even have a Mars retrograde in your natal chart, which would be interesting. We can talk about that a little more too. But let's hop into the next question, please. Mahesh, hello. How are you doing? So lovely to see you here. Mahesh asks, is Isha going to approach me? Thank you for your question. Let's take a look at what's going on with Isha. Is Isha going to approach Mahesh? All right, my dear. So kind of looking at where we have gone up to this situation, would it be fair to say that the metaphorical waters are a little rocky between you two? And I don't know if there has been either no communication or not much communication. I feel like I've got two people that don't have a clear understanding of how the other person's feeling, what the other person is thinking. And it's kind of like, we would maybe talk to each other if the opportunity presented itself, or we ran into each other in a room together. But given that opportunity maybe hasn't presented itself, it's like, well, I'm not reaching out. You know, there's, I guess I could sum all that up by saying there's a bit of tension going on between you and Isha at this time. When I ask, is Isha going to reach out, or is Isha going to approach me? I've got to say no. I don't think so in the short term, but I don't think she would ignore you if you were to approach her or if you were to reach out. Although I really want to say, like, now is kind of not that time, but I don't think that the door is all the way closed on this. It does seem to me like she maybe wouldn't know what to say or how to even approach it. I feel like her heart's, even with this Two of Coins here, a bit divided on the topic, and like, I feel really not ready. I don't feel that the door is closed. I got the Justice card upright. So there's definitely opportunity for conversation on my table, but I don't see her, flinging her arms open and looking for that approach anytime super soon. So I hope that that's helpful. I got it again. I got it again. Yes, I hope that that's helpful, my dear. Thank you so much for your question. And yes, I love it. I love readings, any type of reading, really. And someone asked me the other day, what is your favorite type of reading? And it's almost like, well, what is your question? There's a lot of beautiful things that happen reading in any sort of context, whether we're spying on someone and seeing how other people are feeling and where other people are at. I would say I'm really drawn and inclined to answer questions when it's like, I would say put the client into an empowered position where how can I accomplish this, or what guidance do I need to insert goal here? Because I think that's really where the tarot can kick a lot of ass. I can say ass, right? We're the late night show. I think it's just a really neat thing to have a tool to kind of understand your best path forward, because there's really nothing worse, either in life or just in a reading context, to make it feel like things are set in stone. And honestly, sometimes there's maybe little we can do, but there's always something, right? Even on a dead end street, there's a bunny trail. There's always going to be, or you could just turn around and come back the way you came. There's always a way forward. And yeah, the cards are a very powerful tool to help us make decisions and kind of understand our options a little bit better. So yes, with that, I am ready for my next question, please. Guys, we have a donation. Yay! Thank you so much, Colleen. Thank you so much for your donation and for supporting the show. It helps us out big time. And look at this smile that you put on this little girl's face. So thank you so much for your support, for your continued support. Colleen has been around and comes to a lot of the shows. So Colleen, big shout out of love to you. Thank you so much. So Colleen asks, hey, lovely. Hey, girl. For the female coworker that may, and it's a 3-minute reading. Yes. For the female coworker that may present a challenge for me in an upcoming new job position, how do you recommend I best handle her? Okay, neat. I'm going to read that one more time. So for the female coworker that may present a challenge for me in an upcoming new job position, how do you recommend I best handle her? All right, Colleen. So do you remember we had chatted before, I believe, about this new position coming in? I saw it, you saw it, it's seen and it's coming. So let's see how it looks. I want to try and get an understanding of the challenges you'll face there, and then we'll ask quite specifically about this potential female coworker that could provide some sort of challenge. So, all right, let's see. Oops, got some jumpers here. What are the challenges that will be presented to Colleen in her new position? What do we have here? Okay, and then specifically about this female coworker, what is she going to provide? Or, okay, and how should you handle her? Dang, yeah, you are gonna have a problem with a lady. But okay, I'll caveat that with saying I don't think it's anything that can't be dealt with or sidestepped. So just kind of in a high level sense, the challenges that you're going to face with your work, to be honest, it seems like it's really quite fast paced, and I feel like I'm quite excited walking into the door here. I feel like we're now at a point where the next job you're taking is, I'm taking this because I want to be here. This is what I want to do. And I'm not just entertaining positions that pay the bills and necessarily pass the time. There might be a little bit of inflexibility in the job, and or just quite a lot of information you're going to have to learn. I feel like the onboarding process is going to be a little bit of a mountain to climb. So that's really, I would say on the main sense, the challenges I'm seeing with this job, it may be a little bit of mismanagement, a little bit over here, a little bit over there. I feel like there's some interdepartmental work that's going to be involved. So let's talk to this lady about this woman. So I asked, I've actually got 2 queens in the strength card, all 3 reversed here, for who she is, kind of what her problem, how you can handle it. Well, I want to say to you, I would say stay on her good side, to be honest, but I would say don't get too close. I feel like she might try and give some information, and I don't feel like it's necessarily coming from a place where she wants to screw you up, but she's maybe not the star of her position. So with her training, there might be a little bits of pieces of information that's missing, or she might not. I don't think she's going to be the best mentor and the best person for a source of information. She might be a little bit lazy. She might be a little bit distracted at work. She might try and tempt you or present things that are like not what one maybe should be doing at the job. I just feel like it's a temptation sort of away from what you really should be focusing on. But I don't think she's a bad person. I think you could, befriend her. I think it's worth, she's probably not a bad person, but she maybe just she ain't the star employee. Let's put it that way, my dear. So thank you so very much for your question again and your donation. It makes me the happiest little card reader around, and it really supports the show. So thank you so much for your donation and your question. What do I want to say? Yes, okay, I will say just a quick moment on if you haven't felt the Mars retrograde. Also, the Mercury retrograde is happening right now, and I feel like that's one that gets tossed around in the media of, oh, it's Mercury retrograde, like let's hide under our beds. Well, I would say, no. But there's definitely, how I handle retrogrades is like I live through them, and then I just kind of notice. Colleen says, thank you, Cassidy, so helpful. You're very welcome, and thank you for your question and donation. I'll just live through my life and it's like, oh, my computer's not starting today. Interesting, things of that nature. If you are someone who has, and I don't know, from people I've talked to and from experience, I have heard, if you're not really experiencing any challenges or difficulties through Mercury retrograde or through Mars retrograde, you may have that planet retrograde in your chart, and you may actually find that those moments of retrograde, those periods of time, you actually get to win the race a little bit. Like you get to progress, and that is a time of power and opportunity for you, and everybody else is maybe falling behind a little bit. So if the last little bit of time here has really been great for you, that might be an interesting journey. Ryan, yes, Journey, don't you got Mercury retrograde in your chart? I think perhaps, yes. So excellent times of power. If I was born in a Mercury retrograde, I would be planning that out. Maria says yes, awesome. I would be planning that out in my diary for when I should look forward to those times of power. Anyways, I'm ready for my next question, please. Whenever the wonderful. All right, Haley. Hi, Haley. Thank you so much for your question. Haley asks, hi, I work at a physical therapy place as an aide, and I need to get therapy done for my back. If I end up going to my current place I work at for treatment, how would they react to me needing treatment? Okay, that's not medical, because you're asking how the people at your work will react to you. Okay, I'm okay with this question. Sorry, I need to work at a physical therapy clinic. You're having problems with your back. If you end up going to the current place you work, how are they going to react to you needing treatment? All right, Haley, thank you for your question. Let's see what my cards have to say for this question. How will they react? At Haley's place of work. All right. Okay. Interesting, my dear. So what I want to say, and you can let me know if this makes sense kind of right off the bat, but is there more than one person that you would be able to see? Because then initially what I'm seeing is I'm like, there's somebody there who's perhaps quite experienced, perhaps quite good at what they do, and I would say a more senior person, but I feel like that's maybe not the right person for you to connect with in this matter. But I feel like there's also somebody else there. Maybe they're a closer friend, or they're someone that you really trust. I feel like that I'm just looking at cards here, and it's like this one person over here I'm not getting the best reaction from, and or I may not be able to find the appropriate plan that I am looking for. But I would say it's not worth just Xing off your workplace as a possibility. I also don't know if you maybe get some kind of discount or something here, because there's a little nudge of this. I really think it's worth your time to look into this option of seeing who is available at your place of work. But I just feel like she said they have one actual physical therapist and a couple assistants there. Okay, interesting. Well, I don't know if the assistants can help a little bit. or perhaps there's a good assistant combo, because what I want to say is there needs to be discernment with who you actually end up seeing, because not everyone is created equal at this place of work. So thank you so much for your question, Haley, and I do hope that that was helpful. A lot of awesome questions rolling in. If you guys are listening to me, I said this once and I'm going to say it like every show I can. Can you put some fun little emojis in the chat? Maybe like some hearts or some cats or flowers or just some of your favorite emojis, ones that make you smile. It would just make my day, because then my whole side of my screen just lights up with beautiful emojis and wonderful energy. So share the love, send some wonderful things in the comments if you're so inclined. And again, the donation link line is open. If you're looking for a 3-minute reading, 5-minute reading, mini or mega readings, that's all open. The donation link is floating around here in the comments section. And again, I'm going in order. So if you're looking for a 2-minute reading, I'm getting to you. I'm on my way. And if you want to jump the line, the donation link is the way to go. Thanks, guys. Look at all these: Kelly, Audrey, J Love, Del. Oh, thank you. Thanks, guys. Okay, I'm ready for my next question. Breaking news, guys, we have a mini reading. Yay! Okay, also, how nice is that sound? That is a new sound, at least if you just caught my show last week. It's been on all week, but that's such a beautiful, breaking news sound. So cheers to that. Mini readings aren't timed. Where's my comfy chair? Let's get situated here. Okay, awesome. So Delphine, if you have a question, my dear, thank you so much for your donation. I forgot to say that as well at the beginning. Please, if you're looking to donate for a reading, I would highly recommend popping in here and putting in your question first, and then we have it on loop. And then when we get the donation, we can just link up your question to your donation, and I can be off to the races. So my apology that I forgot to mention that before. So Delphine, please, my dear. Thank you so much for your donation. But yes, my dear, please hop over to with your question. While we're waiting, I am going to pull a card from a deck. That makes me laugh. And let's see if it'll make everybody else laugh. Let's just say they're looking for a message for somebody out here who is somebody listening. Just give me something neat to say that will maybe put a smile on somebody listening's face. While we're waiting for Delphine to please give us her question. Oh my goodness. This deck is absolutely ridiculous. So the 2 cards I have, and as soon as I have your question, Delphine, you got my full and undivided attention. But I want to keep this thing rolling, because some people are listening to me on the radio, and I don't want to, just sit here and not say nothing. The 2 cards I have, one of them is called The Gravy Funnel, and one of them is called Maze Face. We have her question. I'll read those later. I will read those later. Thank you so much for your question, my dear, and your donation. Let's get comfy. I'm not timed. Delphine asks, what do you see coming up in my current job situation, finance, and current love in 2023? Okay, my darling. So mini readings are really kind of focused on one specific question or area in your life. So I'm happy to kind of look into your job financial situation. You may not get a chance to do the whole shebang, but let's take a look at what the cards have to say. If you have any other context for your job situation that you would like me to ask a little more specifically, please let me know. Context is most helpful when I'm trying to tap into a situation and get a lot more information. So what do we see coming up in your current job situation for Delphine? What do we see coming up in your job situation? Okay. Get a few more cards down here. Take a look at your financial situation. I'll get all my cards down and then I'll be off to the races with my reading. financial situation. Okay. Any other information we have about your current job? Okay, well, tapping into your current job, I'm feeling almost, I want to say, a little bit conflicted, a little bit, because sometimes when I'm looking at a situation, it'll be like, and this is often not life, right? It'll be either, wow, this looks really good, or wow, this looks like total garbage. But I actually am quite torn with these cards on my table. And not that, you know, your job is total garbage by any means, but I feel like it is causing you a bit of stress. And I don't know if this is in the terms of change in management, mismanagement. There's just not a great connection between the layers of people that could have decent communication. Please let me know if that makes sense, because I'm honestly feeling like, well, the job is, maybe it's like, I feel like it's fairly consistent, and or I know what's expected of me in a sense, and I know what I need to be doing on a day-to-day basis. Financially, it doesn't seem to be, a terrible option. At least it hasn't been in the past. I will say it's kind of been enough to pay the bills, sort of a thing. But underlying all of this is just, man, like whether that's a direct conflict at work, because I feel like when I'm clocking out at the end of the day, I'm taking work home with me. Like I've got, and not because I'm working off the clock necessarily, but it just feels like very stressful, very, maybe there is people, reaching you at late hours of the evening, but I feel like I've taken my work home with me, and I'm just maybe not sleeping, feeling pretty stressed out about the situation, not really supported, and at least not seeing a long-term future with where you're at. And when I say that, it doesn't mean you can't stay there, a little bit longer necessarily, but it seems more like I feel an expiration date on this at some point, right? Like it doesn't seem like I've found the place where I want to be forever. And that might have even been a bit of a dissonance or a bit of a surprise. Like, hey, this wasn't exactly when I started this job. It seemed to be really good. And I honestly want to say too, like it seems like you're working with people that are pretty decent, but some aspect of the work, the management, the actual flow of what your responsibilities are is not great. Like look at these sets of cards here. I'll even just show you what's kind of going on over my table here. The Hierophant, the Ace of Coins, and then the Nine of Swords, kind of showing me what's going on at your work situation. And then additional information, I got the Two of Cups upright, and then the Ace of Swords reversed. So it's like, I wouldn't be surprised if you've got a decent amount of support between your coworkers or the people either on your level, or at least there's a camaraderie there. Like I feel like the people around you are pretty decent at your job, but that it's like with this Ace of Swords reversed, it's like, but there's a cost of some BS that I've got to deal with. That can be in the aspect of communications. Like I said, it could be an issue with management or what is actually supposed to be, like I feel a little bit confused almost walking in the door. Like I don't really know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. Not that you don't know what you're doing. That was, I guess, the wrong way to say that. Expectations aren't necessarily clear. And the layout of the job isn't exactly like, if you're here, my dear, please let me know if this is making some sense for you. Because I feel like this job it's got some things that are quite good about it, especially in terms of, whether financially it doesn't look like it's been too bad. And the people around you look quite decent as well. But I feel like the work itself has been quite stressful, straining, in a sense, inconsistency. Just stressful. It feels really quite stressful, my dear. So looking at your financial situation, which I do imagine is largely tied to your work that you're doing, and I don't know if are you expecting some level of money? I don't know if I'm not reading anything certainly in terms of like a settlement or a legal side of things, but to me it looks like you're waiting for some kind of money to reach your desk, shall we say. I don't know if something is owed to you, or you're waiting in some sense for your financial situation to change in a way that's not, I'm going out and getting a job and, I'm trading my time for money or things like that. It seems like I'm waiting for someone to give me what I am owed. If that isn't in fact the case, I do see that being paid. And I would say, I think your financial situation, it seems to be, relatively stable right now with your work. I don't think you're being pushed out the door or anything, but I think at the point, should you choose to leave, that's going to be something that you largely make that choice because it's just really not what you're looking for. Not that they are firing you or laying you off or anything like that. So I feel like there's a steady level of income going on with this 8 of coins here, being paid through your work. But then I do also want to say with these other 2 cards, it feels like money owed to me is now coming across my bank account, which is quite nice. Yeah. So going forward, I think it's going to be very important to, I don't want to just say budget because that's not the right thing to say, but I almost want to say you need to be, there's advice here to be quite crafty with your finances and with your money. Because if you are looking to make some changes in your life, either, eventually change your job, or to me, it just looks like I've got bigger plans out there that require a decent handle on my finances. And that's kind of what I feel is the guidance really coming forward for your financial situation, especially here with this 2 of coins, right? It feels like whether you can, I guess, be more diligent with your savings or be more consistent with where you're putting your money, just have a really good handle on how much is coming in and how much is going out. I feel like a budget's never a bad idea, but to me, it's more of I kind of have my mind made up that I'm going to want to make some moves with, like I said, whether that's changing your jobs or otherwise. There's guidance and advice here for you to be crafty with your financial situation and, crafty, but also like quite, I would say, be more involved, be a little more hands-on with your financial situation. Be very attentive to what money is coming in, what money is going out, what money is being saved, what am I saving for? Just kind of having those high-level financial conversations, I think, would be very useful for you, my dear, at this point in time. So what I'm going to do now is draw an oracle card here to see what the message is from my lovely Sacred Travelers deck. And if you're still here, my dear, please let me know how this sounds for you. All right, so the card I have for you, this is a great card. It says Breaking Trail, and it says a breakthrough is at hand. Right, okay, so it's quite interesting when I pull out my oracle deck because it'll often echo or sum up or have something to say that is tied to what's already been said through the other portions of the reading, where it says a breakthrough is at hand. So I feel like you've probably already got some plans in your mind of, he's pretty active there, right? He's there, and yeah, breaking trail. It's not like she says, yes, I'm still here. Excellent, my dear. Breakthrough is at hand. So to me, I feel like you've already got some plans in place, whether or not you've actually started to make those moves, but I certainly feel like having your finances in order is going to help make that transition a whole lot easier. And with the saying a breakthrough is at hand, I wouldn't be surprised if you've really already got a lot of this in play, in progress, things already happening and in motion for yourself. So yes, my darling, thank you so much for your donation. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I hope that was helpful for you, my dear. And yes, thank you again. Thank you so much for your donation. It makes me so very happy, and it really, really helps to support the show. So guys, again, depending on where you're listening to us, you can find us on YouTube at My Psychic Connection, and also at www.mypsychicconnection.com. If you find yourself at a point where, the show is not on and you'd like a personal private reading, all of the readers that you see here all week are on there. I'm on there now too, guys. Yes, I've got my profile set up and it's going to be ready to go. So you can come and find me and we can have a private conversation. Like I said, as well as any of the psychics, 24 hours a day, you can find someone to chat with and answer your questions for you. So anything else I want to say? I don't think so. I'm at the moment, I guess I'm ready for my next question, please. Audrey, hey girl, Audrey, it's so nice to see you, my dear. Audrey asks, hey, so Wes and I blocked his crazy ex because I feel she's back to her crap trying to ruin us. Ooh, I hate that. I'm sorry. Is this enough, or should I prepare her to get us Or should I prepare her to get us a different way? Okay, like prepare for her maybe to get us in it. Okay, yeah, let's see. Let's see what's going on. Her name is Cassandra. Thank you very much, Audrey. All right, with Crazy X. That's already blocked her. Let's see if that's going to be effective. Sorry you're dealing with that. What a pain. Crazy people everywhere. Well, she's the winner, isn't she? All right. Dang. I feel like this is a rather rooted pain in the ass. So it seems like it's been a minute. For 3 years now. Yeah, that makes sense. And it's kind of interesting here because I don't feel like, let me know how this sounds, looking kind of at the past of this situation, I feel like it hasn't always been terrible, but she's made a point of sprinkling a little bit of, perhaps a little bit of niceness in there, a little bit of maybe we can work this out. Like, I feel like she's had just enough, and it might be far and few between, but just enough, a couple of levels of sanity where it's like, it's been what's made her able for the last 3 years to just keep coming back into the life. Like, I feel like there's still a tie there between your fiance and her, and not like there's anything going on there. I'm not seeing that at all. In fact, I'm seeing that completely slapped over and done. But I feel like there's, I don't know if there's something going on that they haven't completely worked out yet. Crap. I just want to say, maybe do a little bit more, that this is a different breed of crazy. Protect yourself. I don't think it's going to be horrifying or anything, but I don't think she's willing to give up that easily. So thank you so much, Audrey. I do hope that was helpful. And again, I'm sorry you're dealing with that situation. And I know that I've actually heard this quite a bit lately, and I don't know if we can attribute this to the retrograde situation that we've had going on with these couple of planets. But man, it feels like there's a special breed of crazy out lately. So if you are out there, I'm very sorry, Audrey, but if you out there are someone who's also dealing with a special breed of crazy, I do apologize. Never be afraid to set your boundaries as best you can. Hopefully that will be respected. Because, man, it's a pain in the butt if you ever have to get a level of, legal situation involved. Hopefully that's not the case in most situations, but I really wish the world was better at communicating. But again, Mercury retrograde, communication can be strained or challenging at this point in time. So maybe have those conversations next week. All right, I am ready for my next question, please. Celtic Dragon. Hi, Celtic Dragon. Lovely to see you. Hope you're having a nice evening. Celtic Dragon asks, any advice on how to not doubt myself when I read my tarot and oracle cards? I find I have trouble hearing or interpreting the message. Awesome. Oh, what's my favorite question? Let's talk about card reading. You may have got me there, my dear. Any advice on how not to doubt myself when I read tarot and oracle cards? All right. I have general advice, but let's see what the cards have to say specifically for you, my dear. Okay. Well, dang, dude. I don't like, this is really beautiful what I'm seeing here. I want to say, I'm not going to just say trust yourself, because duh, if we could do that, that would be easy. But where I feel like the block is coming in is I feel like if I have something that's good to say to someone, I can say it rather ecstatically, or rather, I feel like the messages that come through where it's either I'm providing something within myself that I feel is positive, useful, good news to someone, I feel like that just flows. I was going to say flows like butter, but it doesn't really flow. I feel like that flows like a nice wine, But then I feel like where there's a bit of a challenge is in those messages that are a little bit either outside the realm of what when you're answering a question that you're maybe not an expert in the field, when you have to deliver bad advice or bad information, strained discussion. Because to me, that seems like where what we need to kind of hone in on in terms of trusting yourself, the ability to kind of really take it all as it comes. And information and guidance for how you can do that is, to me, I'm honestly seeing a rather repetitive practice could be quite helpful. And even if you're just practice reading on situations where there's not necessarily the other person there, so you to remove that pressure from yourself and practice that. We're going to get that time from when it comes in to when it comes out my mouth more quickly, and I'm not having the chance to judge it. Like, oh, this is good news, I'll say this. Oh, this is not good news, I'm going to get tongue-tied. That's what I'm seeing for you, my dear. Thank you so much for your question, and I do hope that that was helpful. And that's really a thing that's kind of neat that came up, because I will say certainly when I got started on my card reading journey, like, man, it's fun reading the cards. Oh, there's a new person, like, you're going to find love this year. The house is going to sell, you know, the job's going to be great. And then I experienced that very much so firsthand. Pass it on information where it's like, oh, this isn't quite as good. But again, every information is helpful, right? Like, that's kind of the basis of what I'm looking to do with my readings. I want them to be useful and helpful. And to me, oftentimes, like, just straight prediction without any level of guidance or how to make sure something happens may not be necessarily as helpful. Like, but looking more at the why, at the what can I do, things in that nature, I think, can be very helpful. So with that, I am ready for my next question, please. Please leave another donation. Yay! A 3-minute reading. Awesome. Audrey. Yay. Okay. Can we go farther on this? If this is your same question, because this is one I read on, please let me know if you want me to just keep going on this, or if you had something else you wanted to ask. Because yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't get to quite all the way finish, but please let me know, my dear, if you want me to just go farther with that question, or if you had something else to ask. And guys, this month, for every donation we receive, they will be donating $1 to the ASPCA. Isn't that just a nice thing? Oh, that is a cause that is very near and dear to my heart. And if I look past my screen, I can see 2 furry little cats that also are benefits of such a society. Awesome. Audrey says, keep going. Excellent. Okay, thank you, my dear. I'm very glad I got to, because I didn't get to finish. All right, so let's see. Dang, I should have left those cards up. That's okay. Let's get them back up again with this. Okay. All right. And then I want to see what you can do about it. Because, yeah, again, I mean, I just asked again, you know, I've got different cards on my table, but the message is very much so the same. So what can Audrey and her fiance do to help mitigate this situation? Okay, interesting. It was a saying, you know, she woke up and chose violence that day. Like, I feel like she just enjoys this conflict. It almost gives her some level of satisfaction to just cause drama, to make things more complicated than it needs to be. And then I feel like she might kind of, at some point, retreat into a state of, you know, you don't hear from her for a little bit. You're like, you peek behind the curtains. Is it okay? Is she gone? Like, did we get rid of her? And then it's like she just kind of falls right back in, because she just can't let this go. And I feel like it's very one-sided. Like I said already, your fella is completely all the way done with her. Audrey says she does. Yeah, because, like, look at this mess. It's like I got Ace of Wands reversed, I got 5 of Wands reversed, and then I got Hangman. So it's kind of like there's the breath. It's like, oh, is the psycho turned off? It's like, no, it's just going to come right back around to this. But to look a little bit more deeply into what you guys can do. Okay, I know you've already said, you said who she is. Yeah, I called the cops on her. Yeah, okay. Because I was going to say, like, a level of having something on a record, in a sense. So calling the cops, having some sort of paper trail. I do think that that's the right thing to do. And I want to say, like, are you sure she's blocked on everything? Because I feel like there might be some little way she can trickle around into getting a message through. Because to me, I feel like you've done a good job in terms of making her physically isolated, but I feel like the words are still trying to push through. I feel like she almost requires a little bit of, I want to say a little bit of constant effort, but I don't want to ever say to someone, she says email. That's one of them. Anything, I would say internet, cloud related, Facebook, you've probably done those types of items, but I feel like she's the crafty little one, and she's just going to kind of find continuous ways to do it. I want to say though, I feel like physical presence has been stopped with what you've done with the cops. I feel like she's sat back down, but her words bullshit is, I feel like it's going to keep coming forward. So that's my best advice for you though, my dear. Really make sure you can, I would say, if any boundary you can physically set up, so that she is, like, I know, I'm sorry, I'm seeing this, I just want to smack her. Anything else you can do to just plug that connection entirely, because I feel like she has sat down in a physical sense. So thank you so much for your question, my dear. Really appreciate it, and I hope that was helpful. And good luck to you, man. The breeds of crazy out. You know, we can't even blame it on the full moon anymore. That was a week ago, and you know, I know that brought a special moment for some folks as well. So I do hope that, and again, like I would just say kind of with everybody, with that Mars retrograde ending today, I hope that there is a shift there can be a shift too. Like Mars can be a rather, I don't want to say violent energy. It can be if it wants to be, but it's quite active. It can be quite confronting. So I do hope that at least things change in that regard, as well as with the Mercury retrograde coming to an end. I'm just hoping communication opens up in a better sense for anyone who needs it. People listen more, people speak better. And if you're someone who finds that you're a little tongue-tied right now, you can put off those conversations until next week. You know, anyone else who needs that advice to Audrey, block, turn the notifications off. Audrey says, okay, thanks. You're very welcome, my dear. Thank you so much. Awesome. I am ready for my next question, please. Oh, I haven't forgotten. I've got my 2 cards I wanted to come back to. Maze face. We'll talk about that in a sec. Okay. Yuka, hi, welcome back. Yuka says, what spiritual gifts are coming for me? That's a great question. Let's take a look at spiritual gifts for Yuka. I love your picture with the heart with the angel wings. It's beautiful. The spiritual gifts do we see for Yuka? Okay, and I'm going to use another deck I've got here. Oh, this is kind of interesting. Let me know how this sounds for you, but to me, clairvoyance as a high level gift seems to be something that will really be your favor, and so that I think would come forward in your favor. Thank you, beautiful. You're very welcome. With this seven of cups here, I'm almost getting a sense like visions. This can be dream work, but then I have the sun here, so I'm not going to limit it to dream work. To me, it seems more, you could even say daydreaming, or some level of visions, visual. Yeah, clairvoyance in a sense. Like highly look into, I would say, that as a branch of psychic work, because to me it seems like either synchronicity, symbols, picking up on your environment, and or like seriously seeing things that are like not physically there, but like are, you know, in a spiritual way there. I feel like that's a really good thing that you can look into as well with this World card reversed. That is a card that really shows up for me with mediumship, and or any level of like spirit communication, spirit guide communication, things of that nature. But you know, daytime stuff. Just wow. Thank you for pulling out beautiful cards. My pleasure. I would say, you know, it's probably not necessarily dream work, but I would really look into clairvoyance, and if mediumship or working with guides, angels, ancestors, things like that. To me, it seems like you've got a very interesting path with connecting to the unseen realm. I would certainly say the world reversed. Yes, that is what I have for you. And thank you so much for your question. I hope that was helpful, and enjoy that journey, because when the sun is on the table, I feel like it's, you say it's coming through. It's coming through whether you're ready or not. I feel like you're ready, but it's like it's coming through quite clearly. I love seeing that card there as well. Cool, guys. So we are heading into the last 10 minutes of the show. My goodness, this hour absolutely flies by. Please make sure you guys are subscribed to our YouTube channel at My Psychic Connection. You can find us. Go to YouTube, type in My Psychic Connection. We've got some really cool shows that are coming up that are only going to be, Yuka says, thank you. You're very welcome. We got some really cool shows coming up. They're only going to be on the YouTube channel. So make sure you're subscribed so you can get all that really cool content. And then tomorrow night, I haven't said this yet, but the fun is going to keep on going tomorrow night with Journey and Friends. So it's the most fun show. Bunch of psychics. They are having a great time, and you can come and get readings from one of them or all of them. And that happens, I believe that's 7 o'clock. I'm pretty sure that's 7. I'm so sorry. I believe that's 7 o'clock Eastern time. But if you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, you'll be able to see all of that good stuff. And that show is, usually a couple hours long. So please come and give them some love tomorrow. And then next week, we'll be back with the cycle of amazing readers all week with my show here. It's 8 o'clock. Oh, I am so sorry. It is 8 p.m. Thank you, My Psychic Connection. 8 p.m. I'm so sorry. My time zones. That's right. Yes. I am not in the same time zone. So 8 p.m. Eastern, and that is 5 p.m. Pacific, and wherever else you are in the world, 8 p.m. Eastern time, you guys should be here enjoying that wonderful show. So come and enjoy that. Great lineup again next week. And then my show, Cassidy the Cardslinger, you can find me Thursday evenings at 11 o'clock Eastern time or 8 o'clock Pacific time. My word. Anyway. With that, I'm ready for another question. Please, think we got time for maybe another one or two here. Kelly, hi Kelly. Thank you so much for being here, Kelly, and all of your emojis you've been popping in the side. Your support, your energy. Girl, I just want to hug you through the screen. Kelly says, hello Cassidy. Hey girl. Hope you are well. Great. Thank you so much. When will I be moving? Ooh, hey, what do we see in the cards for when we see Kelly? Beautiful Kelly moving. Wrong way. All right. When do we see Kelly moving? Okay. I'm just kind of looking at windows of opportunity here of when it seems quite likely that that's going to happen and that's going to take place. And I had a card for January here, but I imagine the next 2 weeks is a little bit quick because I'm not seeing necessarily a move this month. Although February, I've got the Knight of Cups here. So to me, I feel like there's certainly a search going on. Like you're quite actively looking for where it is you want to go. I wouldn't be surprised if you even look, place an offer or have some kind of communication for where you want to go. So I would say the window of opportunity, February doesn't look too bad. If February is too soon and that doesn't end up taking place, to me, like the springtime is looking pretty good. So March, April, May, I would say the May, June, January, March, April, May. May looks really quite promising. Even April as well. May, April, June. No, probably by June, I would say. Those months, I think, look really quite promising, my dear. But I feel like even in February, you're kind of laying the groundwork to make that happen, whether you're kind of researching where you want to go, what your options are, things like that. So I feel like you're really on top of this, putting things into action and taking a very active role in finding that next place, but also not just willing to take any old thing. So I see that as well. So hope that was helpful, my dear. Thank you so much for your question and your support. I have to go back to these questions, guys. Just a super quick. She says, there has been a delay. Yes. Yeah, I understand that. And just keep pushing because I feel like it's, the next few months does certainly seem quite promising. So let's do a quick look at these cards because, again, they're hilarious. So this it's called the Gravy Funnel. And if you're not on video here, we have this. It's a hand coming out of the sky, pouring into a funnel that's being drank by a rooster that has, a pretty rockin' bod. And then the other card here I have is May's face. This deck is ridiculous, hilarious, and always a good time. All right, so what I want to say, just kind of as a high level, perhaps somebody listening, this might be an interesting thing to think about. The gravy funnel and maze face. Well, for the gravy funnel, I want to say over the next little while, be careful with your consumption. And I'm not talking about food. I am talking about anything that is, that I will almost say is intrusive on what it is that you're planning to do. You know, if you are planning to spend the next 5 minutes on social media or reading a book or that sort of thing, social media is an interesting run, right? Because you can be scrolling through trying to find information about your friends, and then all of a sudden you get something you weren't looking for, and it can take you down some kind of a rabbit hole. So the gravy funnel, to me, like literally, it just seems like anything that's being poured down our throat, perhaps without our consent necessarily. And then with maze face, it feels like I've got a level of confusion with my brain, and I'm not able to figure out my own thoughts and assign, you know, what am I even doing? Like, I'm just maze face, right? Like I'm just completely confused in my own head. So with these two ridiculous cards, reading ridiculous cards, and the Cardslinger, the slinger of all cards, for whoever's out there listening, watch your consumption over the next little while, the type of news you take in, and just be very mindful of what things are going to really throw me off kilter for the day. And you know, this is an interesting theme tonight, but what kind of blocks can I put in place so I'm maybe not necessarily drinking out of the proverbial gravy funnel. Hilarious. Thanks for putting up with me, guys. Awesome. I mean, we've got a couple minutes left of the show here. I am prepared to do one more reading if we have one more question. Terry T. Hi, Terry. Thank you so much for your question. Terry asks, hi, kind madam. Oh, that's sweet. Will I meet a man for love soon? All right. Let's take a look, Terry. Will I meet a man for love soon? So let's take a look at your love life situation. And do we see a new man coming in for Terry? Oh, yeah. I do. Okay, but let's not start. Spoiler alert. But going back, to me, when I'm looking at what's kind of led up to this, it's almost like I feel like the well has ran dry, or at least like I feel like my options have been really quite limited. It may not be a lack of putting yourself out there, because it does to me show like you have been trying. It's not like you're, locking yourself in your bedroom at night wondering why I can't meet somebody. But to me, I feel like I've maybe put myself out there. I haven't had a lot of great connections, communications. It's just the options around me seem kind of limited. And when I'm looking at kind of what's coming up, I have the Page of Pentacles, and the guidance for this I've got is the Knight of Cups, both upright. And the Knight of Cups, to me, honestly, is really quite often a new romance or a new love coming in, which is really lovely. The Page of Pentacles is quite nice too, because I feel like there's an almost an innocence or a foundation there, that the way this starts is really quite fun, or quite, we ease into this really quite gently. So I want to say, yeah, I definitely do. And I do want to say to keep doing what you're doing. I don't feel like you necessarily need to change your approach, but keep putting yourself out there and trying to make those connections. And don't feel like the options you've seen is all there is, because you haven't seen nothing yet, my dear. I definitely do see someone new coming your way. So don't give up. Not that I think you're going to, but it might, that can weigh on us, right? Like when we try at something for a bit of time, for a long bit of time, just without any success. But the more that we can keep doing for ourselves, the more we can change our situations. Anyways, guys, we've reached the end of the hour. That absolutely cruised by. I can't believe it's over. But thank you to each and every one of you who joined us here. Us. Why am I talking about me? Everyone who has joined me here tonight at My Psychic Connection. Again, my name is Cassidy the Cardslinger, and I'm on Thursday nights at 11 o'clock Eastern. Be sure again tomorrow night to check out Journey and Friends, because that's going to be a really awesome show starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And with that, I hope everyone has a wonderful week, wonderful rest of their week, a great weekend. And until next time, thank you so very much. And I wish you guys well. Bye-bye.